हाँ जय राधा
जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
हरि नाम संकीर्तन की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयति यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवतां। हरे कृष्णा, welcome to our session number 5 or 6. Session number 5 or 7. Session number 7 of our Gita course. No? Hare Krishna. Is it better? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Oh, here. Is that better? Better? Yeah. So when there is no sound, there is no transformation. So we need to have a proper sound level of some dB. Somehow, human beings can hear only a range of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So within that range only we can hear frequency of hertz. Okay. So last week we discussed about characteristics of guru, right? Do I need a guru in my life? Do you remember that? Yeah, something like discussed. So what are the characteristics of guru? First of all, do we need a guru in my life?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good. Thank you. So we need a guru. That is at least confirmation from physical here. I don't know on online. I hope everybody would also agree with the same feeling that yes, we need a guru. So then the question comes that what should be the characteristics of guru that we should be looking forward? Yes, parampara. Okay, it should come in a disciplic succession. Compassionate. Titikshasva karunika. Suhud sarvadehi nam. Ajata shatra shanta sadhava sadhu bhushana. Okay, very good. Compassionate. Anybody else? Surudam sarva bhutanam. Surudam sarva dehinam. We should be well wisher. Your ever well wisher. A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Have you heard that? How many of you heard this? Your ever well wisher. Srila Prabhupada, when he would return your letter, handwritten letter, he would always write at the end, your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, 19 September 1969, New York, America. Okay, anybody else? I don't know how we can check online, but anybody else? Okay, so today we are going to see a live story in a glimpse, not in a full detailed story. It's just a glimpse of a live story of such a wonderful guru just appeared on this earthly planet few years ago, maybe 100 years ago, and he left this body 1977. So today we are going to see a live story of such a wonderful personality. Are you able to see screen from? Okay. So it's like some Hollywood or Bollywood story. A person 70 years old, and he's going to a country where he has never been before, and he doesn't know anybody there, and he has practically no money, and probably 40 rupees, which was equivalent to of $7 that time, and no contacts. Today we have WhatsApp contacts, email contacts, but no contacts, and he has none of these things with him that makes for a success. And he's going to recruit the people not on any systematic basis, job description, and then you will have an interview, no, nothing like that, but just going to pick up whomever he comes across, and he's going to give them a responsibility for organizing a movement which is going to spread worldwide, international society. However, with all those things, he tested a mind-blowing success. Can you imagine, just like a Bollywood story, Hollywood story? But this is none other than, oh, we can see this. If you go for presentation, is this better? Oh. I will change that. Better now? So we are going to talk about none other than our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Lord Krishna, it is mentioned in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, when Lord Krishna left this abode 5,000 years ago, Mother Ganges came to Krishna and he said, "My Lord, you left this world, but now we are in a very precarious situation." So what is that situation? She said, now, since you left, there will be no pious activity. People will be no more inclined to the spiritual activities, and they will be interested, or they will be continuing themselves in activities which are not favorable to the spiritual things. And what will they do? They will come and take bath in all rivers, and they will dump all their sins to us. So now, what would be our situation? Please help us. And that is where Lord Krishna in Vaivarta Purana 5,000 years ago, he says that, don't worry, there will be a person who would come and who would spread the holy name of Lord Krishna, means my holy name, not only in Bharatvarsh, but throughout the world. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur, one of our Acharya in Vaishnava disciplic succession, he said there will be a time when chanting of Krishna's name will be heard in England, France, Russia, Ukraine, Germany, and America. In 1800th century, Bhakti Vinod Thakur said this in Sajjan Toshni. So that was the where he used to publish this Sajjan Toshni. So he kind of like said that in the future there will be a person who would spread the holy name not only in India, because earlier before that the holy name was confined to the Bengal or Orissa, not even to the other part of India. What to talk about crossing the ocean and going to the other part of things, and Russia, and of course I said Ukraine, because this morning today we were seeing the video of devotees practicing Krishna consciousness in Ukraine. So that means Prabhupada spread the most movement in Ukraine as well. So let's now have a brief glimpse of this such a wonderful personality. Where did he born? Why did he go to US at the age of 70? He did not have money. What was the purpose? Or was he looking for to have to make himself to become a billionaire? Because that time going to the US, the only purpose was to make a lot of money and become yourself as a billionaire. So let's get started. So Srila Prabhupada was born in Kolkata on 1st September 1896, which is now called as Kolkata. And the day was Nanda Utsava. Nanda Utsava is the 5,000 years ago when Lord Krishna appeared that night. Nanda Maharaj celebrated Krishna's appearance next day. And that is the Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, Nanda Utsava. So it's Nanda Utsava is actually filled with lot of devotion. So and Srila Prabhupada appearing on the same day indicates that this personality is going to spread devotional service all over the world. He's going to have the celebration of Lord Krishna's appearance all over the world. So that is how the indication started from Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. When Srila Prabhupada, and he was named as Abhay Day. So Abhay, like a small child, unlike small child, he was not much interested playing pebbles or cricket or whatever the games, of course not the video games or WhatsApp or something like that. But Srila Prabhupada was definitely not interested in any of these things. So when he saw that his father is worshipping deities and everything he would eat, he would first offer to deities and then he would eat. So he demanded to his father that I would also like to have my own deity, so that I would offer whatever the food that I would like to have. And also I would do the deity worship exactly following your footstep, that I will also offer flowers, I will offer incense. So I would also like to have. And his father, and that is the Vedic culture, because from Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand the responsibility of a father is that his dependents must deliver from the cycle of birth and death. And that's why the father's responsibility, that how can we give this Vedic culture from the childhood. Prahlad Maharaj says that we should give this Vedic culture or the spiritual knowledge not when become old, but from Kaumaram Acharate Pragya. From the childhood, one should actually practice Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. Why one should practice from a childhood? Because when we become old, our habits, our nature become very strong. And because by the time we will carry some consumption and it become very difficult, just like when the stick, when the branch is or the stick is wet, we can give a shape. But when the branch become dry, if you try to give a shape, the branch will actually break. So similarly, it is very appropriate that one should practice Krishna consciousness from the childhood, and to give to our next generation, we must start practicing Krishna consciousness. If we don't practice, we watch a video and we ask our son or daughter, you do chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. He said, Dad, what are you doing? You are watching a TV, YouTube, and you are asking me to do that? Absolutely not possible. So that is where Abhay Charan was trained from the childhood, that he would practice Krishna consciousness by imitating his father by doing deity worship, offering flowers, incense, and many things. And Srila Prabhupada started playing Mridangam and celebrating Ratha Yatra. So once what happened, Srila Prabhupada's father, Srila Prabhupada was very much fond of Jagannath Ji. So because in Odisha and Bengal, Jagannath Ratha Yatra is celebrated wide and spread. So he wanted to celebrate his own Ratha Yatra. Can you imagine the indications as a small child was showing that he's not going to be an ordinary child. So he wanted to celebrate Ratha Yatra. And to have Ratha Yatra, you must have a cart, Rath, right? So Srila Prabhupada's father couldn't afford that. And Srila Prabhupada started crying. I wanted a Rath. Just like as a small child, he would do, he would start crying and fall on the ground. But Srila Prabhupada, of course, did not fall on the ground. But yes. So, but Prabhupada's father couldn't afford that. So what, there was one lady passing by and she heard that, oh, this small child wanted a Rath. She said to Srila Prabhupada's father, Abhay's father, Gaur Mohan Das, he said that I have a Rath. It's very old, but it's operable. You have to do some fixing and it would be actually work out. So Gaur Mohan Babu went, got that Rath, fixed it and gave to Srila Prabhupada. And you know what? Srila Prabhupada organized Ratha Yatra being a small child in Kolkata in his small lane. And from that day, Prabhupada actually would celebrate Ratha Yatra every single day. Again, see the indication showing that Srila Prabhupada will take this Ratha Yatra not only across the India, but across the globe. And today, for your information, for your surprise, Ratha Yatra is being celebrated all over the world, every and big major cities. So that is the Prabhupada has started. So Prabhupada, when he was a small child, what he would go? He would go to a railway station and he would see what are the train going to Puri, and he will keep note of that because he was fond of Jagannath ji. And Srila Prabhupada celebrated first ever his Ratha Yatra being a small child. So he himself organized Ratha Yatra, being a leader because he was exhibiting the qualities of a leader from the childhood, organized the people, and then decorated Rath along with his small friends. And then he had a Ratha Yatra in his own lane. So 1914, that by the time, so Prabhupada born on September 1st, 1896, now he's already around 20 years old. So he joined Scottish Church College. And Scottish Church College, so he started going to the college. And Prabhupada's one of his friend, Rupen Chandra Mitra. So he was a very good friend of Srila Prabhupada, and he would ask, Abhay, what you would like to do? And Abhay, Srila Prabhupada, Rupen would say that Abhay is not interested in ambitious scholastic achievement, or he was not enamored by the Western education. He did not have any interest to go to the Western countries and get some higher education. When asked that, Srila Prabhupada Gaur, he said that I want to do something on spiritual activities, something philosophical, and something which would actually devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna. So you can see that every indication that Srila Prabhupada was actually showing that somehow or the other, by the mercy of Lord Krishna, he would spread this message of Lord Chaitanya all over the world. And when he was in the college, he was with, and that time national movement, independence movement was very much going, and Srila Prabhupada was attracted to the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, and he became a nationalist. And somehow he was ready to participate in a big way in our freedom movement. And as a part of that, to protest, when he was in that college, Scottish Church College, he did not accept the degree from them as a matter of mark of protesting against the British people. He did not accept the degree. He did not attend the what you call the degree certificate ceremony, that he didn't attend that, and he protested that. So Srila Prabhupada, you can see his deity. Like this, it was around 1922. Srila Prabhupada was completely inspired by the Subhash Chandra Bose, Mahatma Gandhi ji, and it was a time 1922. One of his friends, he said, Abhay, in a city, Kolkata, there is one sadhu had come. Would you like to come and meet him? And Srila Prabhupada said, yeah, well, but yeah, I have seen many sages or sadhus, but actually, I don't have any interest to go and meet. But this Srila Prabhupada's friend pushed him. No matter, okay, let's go and meet him. We will not spend much time, but just for the matter of to please his friend, Srila Prabhupada went. And when Srila Prabhupada went, you can see his guru here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the sadhu that was in Kolkata that day. So Srila Prabhupada went and met that sadhu. And as soon as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw Srila Prabhupada and his friend, and he said that, you young boys, why can't you go and spread the teaching and the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to the English-speaking people, to the Western countries? Can you imagine that you are going to some of our programs, in the first meeting you are asked, okay, now you go and open a center, not only to Western countries, but go to Panatur and open a center there. He said, today we didn't even know each other. I don't know what is your expectation, and you are in the first meeting itself, you are asking me to go and do this. And Srila Prabhupada was very brave. He said, yeah, but who will take who is your audience today? Because today India is under the British rule. So first our duty is to make ourselves independent. Then there will be audience to listen your message. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very bold and very convinced, complete faith in teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. He said, this message of Bhagavad Gita and Krishna doesn't depend on any political, social situation. It is very important, urgent that you should go and spread this message. And when Srila Prabhupada heard the boldness conviction, faith of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Of course, there was a wonderful discussion between Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, but Srila Prabhupada was convinced in the first meeting itself that this sage is not an ordinary sage. And in his mind, he accepted Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur as his spiritual master. Of course, in 1933, he would take a official or bona fide or what you call the formal initiation from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So that first meeting turned a nationalist or the activist for the freedom movement to a spiritual activist. And that actually, so you can say that sadhu sangha, love matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hai. So by the association, love means fraction of 1 second. Just by having association of a sadhu, one can actually make person's complete transformation of our heart. Today, we can see that our heart is full of all anarthas, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, masta. Externally, we can put tilak, I can put tilak, kanki, mala, dhoti, kurta. But if I open, just like Hiranyakashipu was like tear apart by Narsimadev, and we can see the core of our heart, core of my heart, I can see that it's a kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, masta. So to get rid of all these anarthas, we definitely need blessings and mercy of the sadhu. And this is what happened to here, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Just by moment of association, Srila Prabhupada was converted a nationalist into a spiritual activist. And he took this instruction to his heart, and that became the mission of his life throughout rest of the life from 1922 to the 1977, 55 years. Srila Prabhupada was meditating and thinking and making a plan, how can I execute this instruction of my spiritual master? So time passed. Srila Prabhupada, 1923, moved to Allahabad, where he started his own business, Prayag Pharmacy. And just next to Prabhupada's pharmacy, there was a Gaudiya Mutt, and there was a small temple, which was nothing but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mission. And then he would go in the evening, sing bhajan, do kartal, play mrudangam. And all the brahmacharis were surprised to see that how this grahastha can play such a wonderful mrudangam, kartal, and can sing such a wonderful Vaishnava songs. So continuing that, it was 1931, Srila Prabhupada heard. So now he was in Allahabad, Prayagraj. He heard that his the sadhu that he had met in 1922, that he's coming to Vrindavan. And then Srila Prabhupada immediately thought that, okay, he would go at least for 1 or 2 days to hear from his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he made a plan. He went from Allahabad, Prayagraj to Vrindavan, and then he attended Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Vrindavan Yatra. So on one particular day of that Yatra, there was a given option to all the participants that you can hear class from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, or you can go and have a visiting a different parts of Vrindavan. So most of participants choose that, okay, they will go and see the Vrindavan, but Srila Prabhupada, being a very ardent follower and listener of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he remained there to hear from Bhakti Siddhanta. So he chose to hear rather than going to visit the different places of Vrindavan. And along with Srila Prabhupada, there were other disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who are mainly the volunteers for this Vrindavan Yatra. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati started this class. It went for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, and 2.5 hours, and 3 hours for a long period of time. First of all, there were very less audience. And as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur continued, the audience became thinner and thinner and thinner. Finally, only few people were there. Along one of them was Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was such an ardent hearer of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur could notice that, oh, here is the person who is such an ardent listener of speaking. And what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was speaking, he was actually giving the vision what would happen to the spiritual world. How one serve Radha and Krishna after going to Vrindavan, after going to the Golok Vrindavan, and Srila Prabhupada was actually listening. And then once he came back to Allahabad, again Srila Prabhupada came to know that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is coming, visiting Allahabad. Then he asked one of the brahmacharis, right? That you have to ask. So he asked brahmachari, can I get initiation from my spiritual master? And then the discussions happened, and finally it was granted that Srila Prabhupada would get initiation on 1932 in Allahabad, Prayagraj. So when there is initiation, so temple devotee would actually give introduction. Oh, this is so and so. And when Srila Prabhupada's turn came to take initiation, so he said, oh, he's a grahastha, he has his pharmacy, he's a very good follower of us, he's a good friend of us. He would come every evening and do the kirtan and bhajan, and he will also donate some money from his business. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, I know this Gaur Mohan Babu, Abhay Charan, he is a good listener of my classes. And that is what Prabhupada had he did not spend a lot of time with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but whenever he would get opportunity, he would actually listen. And that is what Prabhupada wanted all of his followers, that because if you see Navavidha Bhakti, the first thing it starts with Sravanam. And that is why when we say the beginning, sound vibration is very, very powerful. Because sound vibration can actually transform these anarthas or the impurities in our hand. So that's why we should start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So Srila Prabhupada got initiation, and typically it would take some time to get the second initiation, but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur immediately he gave second initiation to Srila Prabhupada in 1932 as well. So like that, the time we are going on, Srila Prabhupada would go to the temple, engage in a devotional service, whatever capacity that he would do, running his own business of the pharmacy, Prayag pharmacy. So in 1935, again, he got opportunity to attend Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Vrindavan Yatra. And it was some evening on the bank of Radha Kund. And he asked again, how can I serve you? And then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave second important instruction. If you ever get money, print books and distribute. So he got the first instruction in 1922 when he was 26 years old. He got the second instruction 1935 when he was 41 years old. So what was the instruction that he received? The first instruction that please go and spread the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to the Western countries. And the second instruction that he got, that if ever you get money, print book and distribute. So that's why if you go to our any temple, you will see the books there, right? So it's just the books are not to be put into the cell, but print books and distribute. And then after 1935, after that Vrindavan Yatra, Srila Prabhupada came back and he wrote a letter to his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He again asked, how can I serve you? So you can see that the mood of disciple is always, how can I serve you? Because serving Krishna means serving spiritual master. Again, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote a letter and he said that, please spread the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in English-speaking countries. So the same instruction, what was given in 1922, same instruction he received in 1936 again from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And this soon after that, just 1 month after that, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur left his body and Srila Prabhupada received the second instruction. And he would now write articles to the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's magazine, because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was convinced, and he has given instruction to his disciples that whatever Abhay Charan would write, you print in my magazines. And Srila Prabhupada was such a wonderful writer, and by seeing that, and all his God brothers gave him a title as Bhakti Vedanta. So Bhakti Vedanta, Veda Anta, Anta means the conclusion of all the Vedas. So Srila Prabhupada understood that the conclusion of all the Vedanta is Bhakti. There are many Vedantists, but who can really understand the real conclusion of Vedanta is Bhakti. And that is where, if you can see, Srila Prabhupada's purpose is full of Bhaktis. If you see chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, what is the chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita? Dhyana yoga. So, right? So in Dhyana yoga, one would expect that you sit, meditate, go to some lonely place, secluded place, sit in a erected position and meditate on. But Srila Prabhupada, in that purport also, he would say, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Because Srila Prabhupada understood the conclusion of all the Vedas is bhakti. 1944. So what was the time of during the 1942-44? Independence. World War II. And why I'm mentioning, because we may be on the verge of WW3, but hope whatever Krishna wishes will happen. So Prabhupada understood that the root cause of all the problem is the spiritual bankruptcy. The root cause of all the problem that people don't have the understanding of the spiritual knowledge. So Prabhupada, understanding that, he started a magazine called as Back to Godhead magazine, 1944. So Back to Godhead. So you can see the name, that reharmonizing our consciousness to the source of all the spiritual consciousness, and that is where Back to Godhead, VTG. So Srila Prabhupada, 1944, he started this Back to Godhead magazine, and who were there to help him to print that? Srila Prabhupada was alone. He would himself write the article. Today, suppose if you want to print the magazine, there will be some people who would write the article. There will be some people, editorial team, who will actually proof editing that, and then there will be a team who will go and print that, and there will be a team who go and distribute the books. But Srila Prabhupada did everything single-handedly. And by the time how old he was? Half a century, 50 years old, right? And so what he would do? He would go, he was in Vrindavan by the time, so he would go to New Delhi. He would request to the people, please help me to print this. And then he would write the articles, and then he would take that Back to Godhead magazine and then go to the hot summer of Delhi. One day he was distributing the books and the magazines. One cow came and knocked him down. Srila Prabhupada got up one fine hot summer of Delhi, such a hot situation that Prabhupada actually fainted because of the sunstroke. But nothing could waver Srila Prabhupada, because he was convinced the purpose of my life is to execute the instruction given by my spiritual master. So single-handedly Srila Prabhupada would go and distribute Back to Godhead magazine. Today, millions of Back to Godhead magazine. Since 1944, even today, Back to Godhead magazines are being printed in multiple languages and distributed all over the world in different languages. Some may say, why did Srila Prabhupada go to US? Why did not he start this spiritual movement in India? Actually, Prabhupada did that. Prabhupada started League of Devotees in Jhansi in 1953. And he wanted, because finally he wanted that the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam should go. So he wanted some launching platform where he can begin, and from there he can spread the mission of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. And then 1953, Srila Prabhupada started this League of Devotees. But somehow or the other, there was not much success. Of course, from the material point of view, one may see that as a failure, but Srila Prabhupada was always a success. Why? Because the whole mission and the intention of all his activity, that how can he spread the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and the instruction of spiritual master. Externally, one may be failure, but the mood was that I wanted to execute. That itself is a big success. So Prabhupada, knowing that the Indian people are not going to take this mission, so what should I do now? So he thought, Prabhupada was very visionary. He thought that if I go, and because by the time Indian people were very much enamored by Western, right? Anything coming from Western, they would actually take it and, oh my God, like today also we have that kind of inferior complexion, right? Anything coming from Western means is a fantastic. Anything coming from India. So Prabhupada thought that, what if I go and start this movement in Western countries, and when the Western people start accepting this mission and the message of Bhagavad Gita, and the Indians, just like a followers of Western, when they see that Western people are taking, and then definitely they would actually be the people that they would start practicing Krishna consciousness. 1959, Srila Prabhupada, so days were passing, Srila Prabhupada making plans, how I can go meditating on the instruction given by by his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. By this time now is already 37-year gap between the instruction given. So you can see the perseverance of Srila Prabhupada. Today, if we try something and if it doesn't work for 1 or 2 years or few months, we say, oh, give up, let's practice something else. But Srila Prabhupada, even after 37 years, is meditating. There was no such a big success that was supposed to be from the material eyes, from the point of the material eyes. But Srila Prabhupada was having such a perseverance, and nothing can actually waver Srila Prabhupada. So there was a recurring dreams Srila Prabhupada was having. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would come in his dream and he said that you should take now sannyasa. And not only once, twice and 3 times he got that such a dream. And Srila Prabhupada was thinking, what should I do? There is some recurring dream coming. That means there is something that my spiritual master wants me to do. And so finally Srila Prabhupada, carrying the family responsibility for the 4 decades, he took initiation, he took a sannyasa in Mathura. So what went in was a old person in white dhoti and kurta and came out as a sannyasi, having a saffron robe and having a danda in his hand, and much more deepened in a spiritual vision and the instruction given by his spiritual master. Saintly personalities, whenever they get some instructions or some advice, they think or they take that this message is coming directly from Lord. So one day, Srila Prabhupada was distributing magazine, and one of his friends said, Swamiji, if you print this magazine doesn't have much shelf life, right? People will take this magazine, they will read and they will throw. But why can't you print books? And then he said, okay, my spiritual master or Lord Krishna is speaking through that person. And then Srila Prabhupada thought, okay, let me start printing. And you know what was the first book Srila Prabhupada actually? Not Bhagavad Gita, not Bhagavatam, but Easy Journey to the Other Planets. And it was around 1960 around. Then I was wondering, why did Srila Prabhupada write this book, Easy Journey to Other Planets? Any thought? Because that time the Western countries were having their mission to go to moon. And Prabhupada said that if you want to go to moon, you cannot go by mechanical way, but there is an easy journey that you can go to the other planets. Of course, not only the Western people, but even during the Vedic culture also, Ravana wanted to build a staircase so that people can directly go to the Swargaloka without even having the pious credit. Because if you have to go to Swargaloka, we have to have enough pious credit, then only one can go from to the heavenly planet. It is said in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, 18th shloka, Rudhva gachanti satvata madhye tishtanti rajada jaganni guna vritisto adho gachanti tamasa. So if one, at the time of living this human form of life, if you are in the mode of goodness, then one can go to the heavenly planets. If you are in a mode of passion, we will stay here, this earthly planet. And if one is in the mode of ignorance, he will go to the animalistic kingdom. So Prabhupada know that the mentality of the people, and then the first book that Srila Prabhupada printed was Easy Journey to the Other Planet. After that, Prabhupada took a momentous step that he wanted to translate Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, by that time, there was no commentary in English language, and Srila Prabhupada wanted to do this whole, you know how many shlokas are there in Srimad Bhagavatam? Around 18,000 shlokas and 12 cantos. And Srila Prabhupada took such a momentous task in his life that he wanted to give a translation in English and give his own commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. And somehow Srila Prabhupada printed in 1962, first canto, first volume, and he made then Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastriji. Because Srila Prabhupada was visionary, he knows that, because the whole purpose that I wanted to have these books all over the India, and of course, if I get the momentum and the platform that I wanted to spread to the Western people. And somehow, through his connects, he got opportunity, time, appointment from then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastriji. And then he presented his book. And when Shastriji saw Srila Prabhupada's book, he was overwhelmed. He said that such a deep understanding and profound Vedic knowledge that been given by Srila Prabhupada. He said very famously that Swamiji's books should be kept in all libraries all over the India. And then somehow Srila Prabhupada didn't have money, then volume 1, volume 2, and then he wanted to have money to have, because by the time he already taken a sannyasa. Sannyasa means you don't have any profession where you can earn money, and but whatever that he would actually get as a charity, that he would take that money. But now how can he print books? You can see Srimad Bhagavatam, like such a voluminous book. How can we print? You need a lot of money, and then support to print. There should be some publisher to publish the book. So somehow through his god brother, he came to know that there is a very philanthropic, very favorable personality who is a director of Scindia Corporation, Sumati Morarji, who's in Mumbai. So Srila Prabhupada immediately went to Mumbai and requested. So he did not get direct appointment. And then all his office, the madams, the chairmans or directors, officer did not allow Srila Prabhupada to meet ma'am. So Srila Prabhupada actually stayed on the, he stayed on the steps for 5 hours, imagining, thinking that madam will come out of her office and he will get opportunity directly to meet her and talk to her. So then after 5 years, when the director, the ma'am came out and she said, Swamiji, what do you want? And Srila Prabhupada said, I need your help. So what is that you want, Swamiji? I want money. Please help me for printing the 3rd volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. And madam was, Sumati ma'am was very, very philanthropic, and she gave some money to Srila Prabhupada. And that is how Srila Prabhupada got money for printing Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. And then, but Srila Prabhupada always had in his mind that I wanted to go to United States of America, right? Now, time came 1965. So Prabhupada is already 69-year-old. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have passport. And if you have to get a visa or something, that you must have somebody sponsor in United States of America, right? Then only you will get visa and so many other things. So Prabhupada, just like by just passing by, once he was in Mathura and he told to Mr. Agrawal that I wanted to go to US, but there should be someone who can actually sponsor my visit. And this businessman, Mr. Agrawal, you can see that Indian people, by large and nature, they are very pious people. Of course, even today also, and that is why you can see all these people sitting here because of pious background. And that is why we are urging all of you that please give this Vedic culture to our next generation. If you see that last 10 or 20 years, the changes that happened in India, we cannot imagine. In fact, it is said that what Muslim could not do, what British could not do in 150 years, what TV could not do in 20 years, Internet did in last 1 or 2 years or 5 years. But if you have to preserve our Vedic culture, we must take this Vedic culture and give to our next generation. So Agrawalji was, he would always actually would like to help others. So he had his son, Mr. Gopal Agrawal, who was in Pennsylvania, butler. And then he wrote his letter. And then one fine day, Srila Prabhupada got a call from ministers of foreign affairs from our central government. And Srila Prabhupada was surprised. Why did they call? They said that you got a NOC, no objection certificate from United States of America. Then he asked, who is that and how did it happen? So they said that there's a person called Mr. Gopal Agrawal. He gave that letter. And then, then now Prabhupada had a sponsor ready. Now he did not have passport. So through some context, he did not have passport. Through some context, Srila Prabhupada got the passport. Now the question is that, of course, visa and the money that he wanted. So again, he got idea that he would go to Mumbai and request Sumati Morarji ma'am that she would definitely help. So again, Prabhupada from Vrindavan on his journey to Mumbai, and again came to Mumbai to meet ma'am, and then Sumati Morarji ma'am. And when he went there, all the securities they did not allow, or the PAs and all things. So Prabhupada told PA that you go and tell ma'am that Swamiji had come and he wanted to go to Western countries to spread the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So The PA went inside and told ma'am. Ma'am said no, because Swamiji is very old and it would not happen. Many people in the past went to the United States. Why does he want to take a risk? And then Srila Prabhupada, second time he coached PA how to speak, how to put his point to ma'am. Again, second time PA went inside and went to ma'am, and again ma'am said no. And Swamiji was disappointed, but Prabhupada would not give up so easily. He demanded personal attendance of ma'am, and then he had a visit directly with ma'am, and he went. So, Swamiji, what do you want? Please help me. I want to go to United States of America. Why do you want to go to? Better you start printing this Bhagavatam here. I would help you. You already printed Canto 1. Let's start Canto 2, Canto 3. No. My spiritual master has given instruction. That is the life. That is the purpose of my life. Swamiji, in the past, many people went. If you go there, you know that sub-zero temperature, 69-year-old, you would not able to survive. I'm sure you would not come back. He said, please, give me one chance. Only one chance. And somehow Srila Prabhupada could convince by the mercy of Lord Krishna. And of course, whenever we get instruction from spiritual master, the instruction comes with the potency. When Srila Prabhupada would tell his disciples, go and open the center in Panatur, or go to Australia, go to China, go to Russia, go to Ukraine. And how did they do that? Because when spiritual master gives instruction, the instruction comes with the potency. It's very, very wonderful. So many devotees, we can see that they were finding very difficult to get up early in the morning, but he wrote to spiritual master. Master gave permission. He said, yes. And next day morning, miracle happened and he started getting. Because when the instruction comes, it follows the potency, the mercy, the blessings of spiritual master, like this Srila Prabhupada. Finally, and where did he get the ticket? Not by plane or something, by some passenger ship, cargo ship. Cargo ship means it is meant to transport goods from place A to place B. And that is how she gave free ticket to Srila Prabhupada. And again, the cargo ship name was Jaladuta. So what is the Jaladuta? Jala means nearer, water. Duta means the messenger. So again, very, very symbolic. So this Jaladuta is carrying another Duta who is carrying the message of bhakti from India to the Western countries. And that is how Srila Prabhupada's dream came true. And finally, on 13th of August, 1965, Srila Prabhupada begins his journey, the prophetic journey to the United States of America after struggle of 69, maybe not be 69, 43 years. Can you imagine that? If you are told to do something and 43 years you are preparing for that. Some of my friends, when I was in Delhi, some of my friends, they were actually preparing for the civil services. And there is a place called GSRI where the people will go and prepare. So they will prepare, study very rigorously, 18 hours, 19 hours, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Very, very difficult to crack IAS and all things. But after a few years, they will actually give up because if you don't get success. So, but Srila Prabhupada, 43 years struggle. And you can see that, I don't know, it is visible, but 37 days of journey. He started on 13th of August from Kolkata. Then he came to Colombo, Ceylon, that is Sri Lanka. And then going to the Cochin, from Cochin, he entered the sea of the Red Sea, and then through Suez Canal, and then crossing the Atlantic Ocean. Finally, Srila Prabhupada reached Boston Harbor Dockyard on 1965, 17th of September. And then on 19th of September, Srila Prabhupada reached New York. And this journey was not easy. 37 days of journey. Imagine 69-year-old. He got a seasick. When he was in Arabian Sea, within 10 days, he got a seasick and he got 2 severe heart attacks. And he was thinking that if I get one more, that's the end of it. Everything will end there. And Srila Prabhupada, of course, that we see the mercy comes from Lord Krishna. And one day, when he was actually in his dream, he saw Lord Sri Krishna. And he was rowing the boat for Srila Prabhupada. He was fully in Srila Prabhupada's boat. and he gave confidence. And Srila Prabhupada somehow from there came to the Atlantic Ocean, and Atlantic Ocean, to cross the Atlantic Ocean, it took almost a 10 days. And the captain of the ship said that, Swamiji, of course, Srila Prabhupada celebrated Janmashtami during the 37 days, because 13th August, Janmashtami typically comes August and September. So Srila Prabhupada celebrated Janmashtami, prepared prasadam and give to all the crew member on the cargo ship. And then somehow Srila Prabhupada reached to the Atlantic Ocean, and on that journey on the Atlantic Ocean, the captain said, Swamiji, I have never seen such a calm and peaceful this Atlantic Ocean, because this ride is very rough, very tough, very challenging. But today I could see this Atlantic Ocean is giving such a smooth and a very peaceful ride. And Prabhupada said, it is a mercy of my beloved Lord Sri Krishna. And that is how Srila Prabhupada, 1965, he reached September after 37 days of journey. Today, if you want to go to United States of America, you have a flight, and within 19 to 20 hours in one break in Europe, and you land in New York or maybe Detroit or maybe East Coast somewhere, and that's all done. But Srila Prabhupada, 37 days. What he carried along with him, 40 rupees, equivalent to $7. What he carried a typewriter. Why? To print the books. What he carried along with is a trump, big trump where he can put all those things. He carried umbrella, and he carried a kind of a cooker, two-story cooker, when he can cook dal and rice simultaneously. And that is how Prabhupada started his journey to United States of America. Today we carry all different things, money, instant Maggi, instant, all those stuffs, and then lot of dabbu money that we carry. Srila Prabhupada, all he had is only the 40 rupees. And when he reached Boston Harbor, lot of things. He wrote a poem in Bengali. He said, my Lord, you are so kind upon this useless soul. I do not know why you brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me, but I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me here? But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible, because you are the most expert mystic. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, 18.78. How will these people understand the mellows of devotional service message? Oh Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. Oh Lord, I am just like puppet in your hand. If you brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance. Oh my Lord, make me dance as you like. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada at Boston Harbor, September 18, 1965. You can see the mood. Even after reaching there, he said that these people, Western people, they don't know ABCD about Lord Krishna, don't know about devotional service. And if you talk about 4 devotional principles, my God, or regulations, they will be jumping here and there. By the way, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sent his sannyasi disciples to Europe. And then he went to Europe, and then Europe, the people were very much enamored, and Indian, because India famous for philosophical and spiritual knowledge. So this one Europe people, British people came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple. He said, can you make me Brahmana? And then this sannyasi said, yes, I will make you Brahmana, but you have to do 4 things. He said, what is this 4 things? No meat eating, no gambling, blah, blah, blah. He said, impossible. He said, then okay, you will never, it will also impossible that you will ever make Brahmana. Same kind of people, Srila Prabhupada went 1965, and he's praying. How will they understand the message of devotional service? How can they take the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? We know that they will break all the 4 regulative principles, left, right, top, bottom, front, in every direction. So how will they take the message of Bhagavad Gita? And it was not an easy journey. And who were his audience? All the hippies, the counterculture, the people who were addicted to the drugs. They have left everything. The common path of the human society, that they left everything. They were under the addictions of drugs, and all those kind of people were the addicts. They were the audience of Srila Prabhupada's message. And he would call the people, start the message of classes on Wednesdays and Fridays. He would cook for them. He would himself will cook. He himself would give a class. After that, he himself would actually wash the vessels and everything. And like this, he started getting some followers, some well-wishers. And one fine day, one of the followers that he was actually become well-wisher, he started living with Srila Prabhupada. Rather, Srila Prabhupada started living with him the Bowery region where all these hippies and drunkard people and they were living. And the sadhu coming from Vrindavan and staying in such a hilarious situation, such a precarious situation, and living with the people who are doing all kind of nonsense. And one fine day, the person with whom Srila Prabhupada was living, he became something like that, and he started chasing Srila Prabhupada and wanted to kill Srila Prabhupada. Can you imagine 1969, 69-year-old sadhu in a foreign land, nobody there, and this person is chasing Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada has to flee from there to save his life. In middle, somebody stolen his typewriter. Prabhupada prepared the script, manuscript for Bhagavad Gita. Somebody stolen that as well. Imagine today you compose one small message on WhatsApp and something happened and that message gone, oh Krishna, and you have to rewrite. Imagine Srila Prabhupada that to commentary full all 18 chapter, 700 slokas and rewrite to again on his purport translations and everything. Srila Prabhupada again started from zero and started writing Bhagavad Gita. So like that, 1 year passed, and there's a lot of things to do. Finally, from the Bowery region, Prabhupada came to the east, I don't know whatever the region of the New York, and then he got the storefront, and then he started his first small center. Even today, if you go to 26 Second Avenue in New York, the temple is there. So Srila Prabhupada started classes on Wednesdays and Fridays, and he wanted, because Prabhupada was meditating and Lord Krishna gives inspiration within. So one fine day, Srila Prabhupada, it was a summertime in 1966, June or July time, Srila Prabhupada said, okay, let me take the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra to the public place. And there was a park called Tompkins Square Park. And one fine day, Prabhupada had some few well-wishers, followers, and he took all of them and started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he started singing, chanting, and dancing. There were a few followers. They started singing, chanting, dancing, and within a few hours, thank you. There were hundreds and hundreds of people around Srila Prabhupada, and everybody was actually dancing, singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And this is the first time in the history of Vedic culture that somebody singing, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in a public place in New York under the tree. And that was the first success Srila Prabhupada tasted. And that became the stepping stone to the many things come in the future. Even today, if you go to New York, there is a plaque under that tree where Srila Prabhupada started his first public Sankirtana, which became the like the seed for the Hare Krishna movement in United States of America. If you go there, you can see that plaque Hare Krishna. So the Hare Krishna movement was actually born under that Tompkins Square, in that Tompkins Square Park, under that tree, and it can actually talks about it commemorates that incident where Srila Prabhupada started the chanting in a public place. And then in the map, you can see that matchless gift, the first temple Srila Prabhupada had 1969, 66, 26 2nd Avenue. And now Prabhupada got small success. Now he was envisioning that how can I take this mission to all over the world? And so Srila Prabhupada registered. So there were some well-wishers, the board of trustee or whatever that. They were thinking that, okay, this Prabhupada may register this moment just for some part of the New York. It may not even go to the other part of the New York. May not be the other part of the United States of America, not the other continent of the South America and all over the world. They didn't have even any clue or inclination that this movement will actually go all over the world. And when Prabhupada registered, what did he give the name? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Some of his well-wishers said, Swamiji, why can't you give the name for International Society for God Consciousness? Srila Prabhupada said that Yes, but that God has a name, and his name is Krishna. And that's why I'm giving this society name, International Society for Krishna Conscious. Can you imagine 7 people, board of trustee or something, who is signing for Srila Prabhupada, small temple, and few well-wisher philosophers, the followers. And Srila Prabhupada founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And all these people are hippies, drug addicted, and no money in his hand, no follower, and that is how Srila Prabhupada started. And what happened after that is the miracles. In the next, so it was 1966, and the next 12 years, Srila Prabhupada went all over the world 14 times. Can you imagine, when he wanted to go to United States of America first time, all he had is a 40 rupees. He went by the cargo ship, 40 rupees in hand, 37 days of journey. But next 12 years, he went all over the world 14 times. And he had around 108 temples all over the world. And he established the deity worship of Radha Krishna. He trained all his disciples how to do the deity worship. And Prabhupada's significant contribution that he translated around 70 spiritual books at that time in the span of 54 years. So what he would do, he would sleep 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the night. He would get up at 1 o'clock when the whole world is sleeping, and he would write his translation until morning 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And that is how Srila Prabhupada wrote all these 70 volumes or books, giving his own translation, giving the commentary. Imagine if you have to read, have you seen our Bhagavatam, 18 canto? Just imagine that you have to read that. Forget about writing commentaries and all those things. It will take years and years together. But Srila Prabhupada, in a span of few years, translated all the 18 volumes of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, many small books, teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many 70 volumes of the book, single-handedly, at the age of 70, 72, until 77 years old. Can you imagine doing all those things? We will not appreciate today that, but when we become 70-year-old, then we will see how difficult it is doing all those things single-handedly and going to the foreign countries. Today people say, oh, ISKCON, they have a lot of money. Oh, they know the money comes from the foreign countries. Where is the money coming from that? How did this movement start? When you see the person behind that movement and the humility, the greatness of the great person, that he never kept himself in the center of any organization. If you come to the ISKCON, who is at the center? And Krishna's holy name. But when you come closer, oh, there is a founder of this movement, and that is how we'll come to know about Srila Prabhupada. That is the humility, that is the greatness of that personality. If you see any spiritual organization, if I start any organization, I will keep myself in the center. And that is how it is. But Prabhupada always kept Krishna in the center, and he's always at the back. That is the greatness. So Prabhupada, today, millions and millions of books are printed and distributed. And Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust, BBT, you see, right? BBT, we are getting the BBT books. That is the largest trust or the publishers all over the world, publishing and distributing the philosophical books all over the world. And many countries that Srila Prabhupada books are being distributed. That's why in the month of December, we had a marathon where devotees will go all over different places and distribute. When Srila Prabhupada, that early time days, all the followers of Srila Prabhupada was a full-timer. So they will go every single day. Morning, they will get up, the morning Mangala Arti, and at 7 o'clock, when they finish the Bhagavatam class, they are on the road taking their books and distributing the books, and they will come at 10 o'clock, take rest, and again morning 2:30, 3 o'clock, they will get up. Every single day they were distributing Srila Prabhupada books. Can you imagine? Sub-zero temperature, people struggling, shivering in the winter on the park, in the mall, at the airport. You can see the old days where people were doing Sankirtanas and all those things. And that is what Srila Prabhupada books were distributed. Not only that, he initiated around 5,000 disciples all over the world, giving them training, started Ratha Yatra, as we started when as a small child, Srila Prabhupada started. He started, if you go to any part of the country or any part of the world, big cities, you will see Ratha Yatra is being celebrated. Prabhupada started simple living and high thinking farm community. Today we have Ulta. So Prabhupada started, so how we can live a very simple way, but very high thinking. And Prabhupada started the farm communities where the Vedic culture is preserved based on the land and based on the Gomata. And then Prabhupada also started Food for Life. Today morning or yesterday only we saw that how devotees in Ukraine and Russia helping other people to Hungary, both then Poland and Hungary. Devotees were in Ukraine crossing to the Hungary and Poland, and there is a big temple in Hungary, Budapest, where devotees are welcoming all these people and giving them food, the food for life. Prabhupada said that nobody should go hungry within a 10-kilometer radius or 5-kilometer radius of my temple. And that is how the food for life actually came into existence. Even today, the food for life, during what to talk about this word, the word war, even during the corona, our devotees, some of our devotees sitting here in Delhi, all part of India, they were going and giving this food for all the people who are affected because of the corona. And that is what Srila Prabhupada did. He started Gurukula. Despite all those things, Srila Prabhupada did not have his own car or permanent driver. He would take the public transport possibly, and very, very simple, humble. And at the age of 81 years old, 1977, November 13, Srila Prabhupada took last breath of his life, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, surrounded by his devotee, and left this world and joined Lord Krishna and his spiritual master for next service, whatever is assigned by his spiritual master and Lord Krishna. And that is our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Today we are here because of Srila Prabhupada. Can you imagine, we all are sitting? In fact, what actually touches, and actually when we hear about Srila Prabhupada, you get a goosebump. You get a goosebump. Today, that Mataji from Ukraine, she said that it is a Srila Prabhupada who really built the United Nations, where the people from, when 1965, we are celebrating 50th years in 2015, there were people representing from 115 countries came to Kolkata and celebrated 50th years of Srila Prabhupada's journey to the United States of America. And this is our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada. We are here because of Srila Prabhupada. Had Prabhupada not been here, why would we be here actually discussing about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? So we are eternally indebted to Srila Prabhupada. Lot of glories to Srila Prabhupada. 1976 Encyclopedia Britannica said that Bhaktivedanta Swami astonished academic and literary communities worldwide by writing and publishing 52 books in ancient Vedic culture in the period of 1962 to 75. Prabhupada was actually acknowledged. Prabhupada was acknowledged and awarded by this encyclopedia. CNN in 2010, Srila Prabhupada, the top 10 people who launched their career after the 50th of years, and Srila Prabhupada actually came in the top 10. Many philosophers, and you can see the Harvey Cox worldwide, the renowned professor of religion, he said, in my view, Srila Prabhupada's contribution is very important one and will be very lasting one. The author of that wonder that was India, A.L. Basham, the Hare Krishna movement arose out of nothing. In less than 20 years, it has become known all over the world. This important fact is in the history of the Western world. If you see other faith took centuries to spread, few centuries, and what span of 12 years, Srila Prabhupada spread the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam from New York to the North, South America, to the Europe, to the Asian countries, to the Australia, New Zealand, and all over that. And that is the greatness of Srila Prabhupada. All he has, only 40 rupees in his hand. Atal Bihari Vajpayee glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Just have a small video here and then we'll end. I don't know, audio will come up. Get the audio. Or shall I take this? Yes. This was when we are celebrating the 50th years of Prabhupada's journey to the United States of America, 2015. He built a house where anybody and everybody can come and live peacefully. That's exempted. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Any questions or comment? Before that, we have announcement. So what you saw today was just a glimpse of Srila Prabhupada life. So from tomorrow onwards, for next 5 days, from Monday, the 7th of March, every evening 7 p.m., we are going to start the most awaited series, 5-day series on Srila Prabhupada. This 5-session series will say day 1, Prabhupada's childhood, day 2, Prabhupada meets his spiritual master, day 3, Prabhupada takes sannyasa, day 4, his journey to West, day 5, ISKCON established. So please take the benefit. What today you heard is just the quick glimpse of that. But if you want to hear minute details of how Prabhupada had challenges and how he established this mission and the movement all over the world. So please do not miss that. Every evening 7 to 8 p.m. for 1 hour from tomorrow onwards for next 5 days, Monday to Friday. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll have now any question, comment, or we'll have Kirtan now. Any question online? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay, so let's move to the next part of our program. We'll have a Kirtan. So I hope there is no question, no comment. But when we understand the greatness of Srila Prabhupada, then our life will actually be peaceful. So please invite Srila Prabhupada in our heart and dedicate our life for Srila Prabhupada mission. If you want to please Srila Prabhupada, help Srila Prabhupada for spreading his mission all over the world, or at least in Bangalore. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you very much. Very good audience listening very carefully and with a rapt attention. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Announcement.
Can we ask a question about what session we had?
Or shall we do later, one-on-one? What is it now? It is 7:45. Okay, time is it? Yes, Mataji.
I just wanted to ask that like easy Agorikas who are also in the spiritual path. So they eat all the or even the living things.
No, Krishna.
Yeah. So how can we justify that they are also on the spiritual path?
Srila Prabhupada said, before we become a devotee, come to the platform of gentleman. And how we call as a gentleman? The gentleman is called, he says, follow the 4 regulative principles, and meat eating is one of them. And if you are eating meat, You're not even a gentleman. What to talk about the devotee or spiritual part? So it's far from reality. Because Abrahma Bhuna Loka Punaravartita Arjuna. Spiritually, how can we please Krishna by eating one of his sons? Right? Who are part and parcel of Krishna. Mamayamse Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manah Sastani Prakrutistani, 14.7. For example, the father has sons, and one son is very intelligent, and other sons are not much intelligent, maybe mentally retarded. So this intelligent person should come and kill that other person. Will father be happy? No way. So I think I will go to that level. I will not go much more detail, but you understand that. So Prabhupada said that before even you become a devotee, become a gentleman. And to come to the platform, gentle, one must follow the 4 regulative principles. Then you become bhakta. Spirituality is far, far from taste reality than who is eating mamsahar and as Mataji was saying, eating other fellow human beings. Only Lord can help them. Lord can save them. All that we can say. Yes, anybody else has any question? How can we become happy? Imagine suppose somebody pinches us, Mataji, right? We get a pain, right? We get a pain. How can we become happy by killing someone? Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. This morning we are reading Srila Prabhupada books. Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, 16, 17, 18th shloka. Prabhupada says that this is very heinous act, killing animals and eating that. And of course, then Prabhupada went to the one stage that, and if you kill cow, there is no comparison of that kind of sin that one can commit. That's why Vedic culture, Prabhupada said, Vedic culture means Brahminical qualities and go protection, go worship. And today exactly we are going opposite of that. No Brahminical culture and cow slaughter, sophisticated cow slaughter that we are having. So we are going exactly in the opposite direction of the Vedic culture. Yes, Mataji. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So this session is one of the 7 sessions, and today is the 5th session. So sorry for the online Mataji's message was that you are talking about Srila Prabhupada's message, but I'm coming first time. What is the message of Srila Prabhupada? So to give a quick glimpse of Srila Prabhupada says we are part and parcel of Krishna. Jivere Swarupa hai Krishnera Nitya Das. And what is our duty? Our duty is to serve Krishna. And what is the best way of serving Krishna in this age of Kali? Harer Nama eva kevalam kale nastev gatiranyata. He said that understand God is great, but we may not know how great God is. So hear about God, listen about God, and chant His holy name. Cheto Darpanam Marjanam. And by chanting His name, that you can see the transformation of our heart. You heard the stories about these people. Who were the audience? All the drug addicts, all the Western people. They don't know ABCD about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They don't know about Lord Krishna, and forget about following the rules and regulations and chanting Hare Krishna mantra. They become as good as a Brahmanas, even more than that. How did it happen? By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So somehow or the other, Srila Prabhupada said that wherever you are, whether you are a grahastha, whether you are a student, wherever you are, do one thing: bring Krishna, make Krishna at the center of your life. And bringing Krishna at the center of life means our life is dedicated to Krishna. So hear about Him, discuss about Him, chant His holy name, and whatever you eat, first offer to Him. That's how we are Vedic culture, right? Whatever we prepare in our house, first we offer to Krishna or God, and then we take. So this is the very glimpse message to Mataji. If you want, we can discuss in detail about Srila Prabhupada's message, but what Srila Prabhupada has done for all of us is a great thing, and we are eternally independent. That's all we can say. So, but भारत भूमि ते हाइले मनुष्य जन्म यार जन्म सार्थक करे कर पर उपकार. So let's take this message of Srila Prabhupada and give to others, and that is why we are here, so that we take and help others to take the message of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama.
So if you are coming Mataji first time, see, taste it, experience from other people, experience your from other devotees, and see how it helps. Does it make our life better, peaceful, spiritual, and then see that how it can bring a transformation in our life.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Even though we have difficulties, I know what difficulties you have, but you taken this seva and you can support Prabhupada. It's very, very important to all of us to hear from Ji. Actually, we are very fortunate. He is doing this seva for almost 3 to 4 years, more than that also. Prabhu through this Janmashtami program also. So I would like to thank Prabhu for coming here and enlightening all of us. Please chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra for his health as well as his progress in bhakti.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So one more announcement. Today the Prashadam is sponsored by Kunal Prabhuji and Deepti Mataji. So chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra for them. The special occasion is we started this center, renovated, and that is a special occasion. They want to associate with all of you devotees. So chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra for this family.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Here is a Kunal.
Yeah, he is Kunal Prabhu and Mataji. Where is Mataji Prabhu?
She's not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So now we start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I'll start. I'll set the pace so you can all start. You can also chop the line. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Last time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. Now it's go for Arati. So Preeti Mataji and Harish Prabhu and Supriya Mataji will start Kirtan.
Krishna Prestaya Namutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Please come and stand in the line. We can offer flowers to the ladies.